business life is the single common factor that underpins the traffic, the bustle in our cities, and the millions.
About 600 nurses employed by the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra are angry. They are giving the employers up to September 30 to pay their salaries, and failure to do so, the nurses have threatened they will embark on a strike action. Now, we spoke to one of them who opted not to be seen on camera.
Tired. We can't continue living without our salaries because we are essential health service providers, and as nurses, we are supposed to be able to take care of ourselves so that we can also take care of our patients. And with all this, we are suffering and we need our salaries. All we are saying is that we are hoping that we get our salaries by the 30th of September. If not, we are withdrawing our services from Kolebu.
Right, so we had to cover the identity of the particular nurse and also muffle her voice. Now, the nurses numbered between 400 and 600 say they have petitioned authorities of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, the National Labour Commission, the President, and the Speaker of Parliament, and yet their salaries have not been paid since January 2012. The nurses say they have been patient all this month at the point of extremely painful and unimaginable sacrifices. They again claim they have followed all necessary administrative channels to get their grievances resolved. The nurses complain that since their employment, numerous applications for salary advance and staff loans have been denied and rejected by Kolebu Hospital Administration, and those who have been granted these advances and loans have only been given less than 30%. Now, they have been continually been told that government has not issued financial clearance to have their salaries paid.
As from January 2012 till date, we haven't been paid. No incentives, no motivations, no nothing. Anytime you go to ask about it at the administration, they keep on telling us they are working on it. And we have written several petitions to the Kolebu administration, to the Ministry of Health, to the Ministry of Finance, to the Ghana Labour Commission, and to the Office of the President concerning this issue. They keep telling us they are working on it, and it's like, it's the same old story. It's been the same old story for 21 months now. We haven't received financial clearance. We haven't gotten anything, no amount of money, and they still say they are working on it. So right now, what we are saying is that we want our salaries by 30th September. If not, we are going on strike. They have pushed us to the limit that right now we can no longer hold again.
Now, one of the nurses is joining me on the phone lines now. We want to keep her identity a secret. Now, thanks so much for speaking to us. Now, let's start from here. Now, during July, you wanted to go on a strike action because for almost 12 months plus, your salaries have not been paid. Now, because of the Supreme Court hearing, you were told by the police you can't do that. And you were also assured that the monies will be paid. Now, you're telling us today that nothing has so far been done. Is that the case?
Yes, please, that is the case. 20 months now and counting, nothing has been done in relation to our salaries. We have gotten nothing as at now.
Now, how far have you gone to getting your grievances resolved?
We have written several petitions to the Kolebu administration. We have written several petitions to the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, the President, Mr. Santi Korbia. We have written to the Office of the President. We have written to the Ministry of Health.
Have you been told why, for 17 months, if I'm correct, why your salaries cannot be paid? Well, I have lost the nurse on phone. The line dropped badly, but we're getting her back. But the news is that for 17 months, they have been working as junior nurses at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The number between 400 and 600. Now, their salaries have not been paid. All their effort to get these done has proved futile. According to the nurses who earlier spoke to us, they have gone to as far as the presidency, and yet nothing seemed to be done right. Now, they threatened a strike action somewhere in July, but we're told that because of the Supreme Court hearing, they can't embark on a demonstration, and so they were told, reassured that they will get their salaries paid. Up till now, that has not been done, and that was how she told us early on when we spoke. But we're trying to get to both the Ministry of Health as well as the Labour Commission and the Kolebu Teaching Hospital to find out what exactly the problem is. And if the nurse we want to keep her identity secret is back on the line. Now, you were telling me that you had gone as far as to the presidency to get this issue resolved, and yet you have not received any very good assurances.
Yes, please.
What would happen? You are asking that by 30th, if these salaries are not paid, you would lay down your tools as junior nurses. Now, how do you survive? How do you live now?
The thing is like this, we have been borrowing and we've even exhausted all avenues of borrowing. We are paying for rent and now the rent time is due. We can't even renew our rent. It's very difficult for us to feed. We can't cater for ourselves. We have to feed from hand to mouth, and it's not easy. The prices of everything is going up, and they keep telling you we are working on it. For how long do they expect us to sit down and listen to we are working on it? We are fed up. They should put themselves in our shoes and see how it's going to be like. They are not asking for incentives. They are not asking for motivations. What we are asking is our salaries should be paid to us. We have worked for it and we deserve to be paid. People go on strike for allowances, but we are not going on strike for allowances. We are going on strike for our salaries to be paid. We are essential service providers, and why should we be set aside?
Your immediate employers, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the administration, what have they been telling you?
They've been telling us that they are working on it and they can't do so much about it. It's all in the Ministry of Finances and the Ministry of Health hands that they have to do their own efforts. That's what they are saying. And they are giving us the options of salary advance, and which is a mega salary, and it can't do anything. Salary advance can never be a substitute for a salary. And even if you are to be taking the salary advances, for how long will you be taking it? It's 21 months now. It has not been easy.
Now, that is the situation. Now, you belong to an association, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association. And aren't you also getting an information from them as to why this is happening to you?
Mr. Santi Korbia, in conversation with him, is working so that we can be put on the government payroll. And even though he's working so hard, there has been no fruit at the end of it. We've gotten we've not gotten any substantial information as to when our salaries are going to be given to us. So it's like they are all trying, they are all working hard, but then at the end of the day, there's nothing coming out about it. The main thing is the salaries, and so they have not been brought out to us.
Can you confirm indeed that you number between 400 and 600?
Yes, please. We are about 400 to 600 nurses, which comprises of the nursing officers, the staff nurses, and the health assistant clinicals.
And you were employed in January 2012.
Yes, January 2012.
Have you cross-checked, perhaps, if your colleagues in other health facilities who were employed have also been through the same challenge or problem?
Surprisingly and amazingly, all other who were employed in other hospitals, like the hospitals under the Ghana Health Service and the other teaching hospitals, like the Tamale Teaching Hospital,
right?
The Konfano Teaching
Hospital, hold it there. Hold it there. Hold the line.
Have been paid.
Hold the line. Don't drop the line yet. Hold it. Let me speak to the president of the association you belong to, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, Mr. Kweku Krabia Asante. Now, thanks so much for joining us. Now, about between 400 and 600 of your junior staff at Kolebu are complaining that between January 2012 and now, their salaries have not been paid. And I'm sure it has come to your notice.
That is true.
And it is certainly not normal.
Well, we have said that time and again in our effort to get the matter resolved. So it's not a new thing.
It's not a new thing, but between January 2012 and now, workers not being paid salaries, very, very difficult, uncomfortable situation. I guess you share the same opinion.
Yes, I do.
And
what I mean is that it is not a good thing, and we've been working together with the affected junior nurses and the management of the teaching hospitals and the Ministry of Finance, but we haven't had a headway yet.
What is the problem? What is the difficulty here?
But the issue is about delay in granting financial clearance to enable Kolebu Teaching Hospital pay them, and it is a matter that the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning has to decide.
So you want to say that you put in the blame at the doorstep of the Finance Ministry?
Exactly so, because once they are to grant the financial clearance, and of course they have also explained that the teaching hospitals should have obtained permission from them before engaging the junior nurses.
And so the Finance Ministry is also finding excuses why these nurses cannot be paid.
Well, I must say that what Kolebu Teaching Hospital did wasn't a new thing at all, because over the period, that is what has been going on. But I think it is the problem of financial crisis, as the ministry puts it, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning puts it, and that has brought the matter to this end. And I do not think that the junior nurses who have been working for 2 years must suffer the consequence.
But they are suffering now. They are suffering. According to them, they have exhausted.
That's what I'm saying. It's unfortunate to subject the junior nurses to this kind of treatment. And it is all because of the problems associated with the request of the financial clearance and also the decision that the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning has to take. So, the two institutions must come to a compromise. Even if Kolebu Teaching Hospital did the wrong thing, the people are engaged and they are working. And in fact, without the support of this good number of junior nurses, I do not think that the work in Kolebu can, as the nursing and military contribution, the work in Kolebu can be sustained. I mean, it's the truth, and the fact about it is that when they withdraw their services now, work there will suffer. And that's why I want the two institutions, the teaching hospital and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, to work together and consider granting the financial clearance to enable them to receive their salary.
You have told me that teaching hospitals will need to get clearance from the Finance Ministry before employing health personnel, I think so. But tell me, what are the processes in employing health officers, and how different is this one, and what is causing the problem? Well,
the issue about getting financial clearance before hiring is a policy that has been instituted. And I know also that the Ministry of Finance and Planning grants the institutions the employment quotas. Speaking to the management of teaching hospitals, they have not exhausted their quota. And therefore, for them, it was the right thing they did, that they engaged them and then apply for the financial clearance for them.
So that is where the challenge is. Hello, Mr. Asante Korobia.
Yeah, I'm on.
That is where the challenge is. Now, tell me, you are meeting the Deputy Minister of Health. Is this the reason why you're meeting? And if you have met him already...
Well, that is not about... That is not...
But certainly, you're going to draw his attention to this.
Yeah, definitely. And I must tell you, even the minister herself is not unaware of this matter.
The Minister
in fact, she herself has made an input into the discussion that is going on to enable the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning give the financial clearance. So the major team players are working. I don't know what the real problem is, but apart from the fact that they say that there's no money now for them to give to the nurses.
But these are essential services. I mean, if there's no money, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's the matter, that the issue I've been driving home all this while.
The nurses are saying that by 30th of this month, if their salaries are not paid, they will lay down their tools, and I'm sure you're uncomfortable with that.
Well, I'm uncomfortable with that because I want the work of the teaching hospital to be sustained. And then it is a caution, and I should think that if it should sound loud and clear in the minds and ears of the parties concerned, especially the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning. If they do not show concern about this, then what they have decided to do will become reality. I don't know.
Let me quickly read a letter. Just let me take 2 minutes of your time before you get back to your meeting. I have a letter here from the Labour Commission, which was addressed to the Chief Executive Officer of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Let me read it to you. Now, it says that the Commission would like to remind you that it is waiting for your response to the concerns raised by the nurses. We respectfully request you to study the complaint and send us your written response to the matter within 7 days of receipt of this letter. Now, please note that the Commission, under Section 1392, has the powers of the High Court to enforce the attendance of witnesses and compel the production of documents. The Commission will invoke its powers if you fail to comply. This letter was addressed to management of Kolebu, that's the Chief Executive, on the 4th of September 2013. And yet nothing has been done. Now, we've been trying hard to get to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The PRO, Mustafa Salifu, is simply not picking his line. Do you think that the Kolebu authorities have indeed done what is right, looking at this letter from the National Labour Commission?
Yes, indeed. In the discussion that I have had with them so far, I consider that they have done the right thing. Because this is not the first time Kolebu has engaged a number of workers within the teaching hospital and have asked for financial clearance. They have done that before. It took some time, and eventually the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning granted the financial clearance. Well, there are documents to prove that. I do not know why this time we're having problems. But I've also explained to you that my personal discussion with the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning reveals that they're having difficulty with funds, which they will have to set aside for the payment of these junior nurses and midwives. For me, the teaching hospital has done the right thing, and because they needed the staff anyway, and from what they added on, the quota that the finance ministry gave them, they haven't exhausted it. Right. And so it will be difficult for me to say Kolebu didn't do the right thing.
And you're sure that by 30th of this month, this problem could be resolved to get the nurses properly back to work?
Well, I hope so. Actually, the last time we got onto this matter, we've been trying to book an appointment with the Chief Director of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning to see how we can move the discussion forward to this expected conclusion. But we haven't had time. I haven't got a response from them to say that the meeting should come on today or tomorrow. I'm still waiting. And so, and nonetheless, the Chief Director himself knows that the issue is pending. And I think now that these bills are sounding, something could be done.
And you yourself, you sound frustrated in your attempts at getting the ministry to pay these nurses their salaries. I can see from the tone of your voice.
Well, that's right. We are not resting on the matter at all because, first of all, I'm thinking about the situation that the junior nurses and midwives are, having worked for 2 years and not getting their salary, and also the amount of work that they are putting in the nursing, for the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the nursing contribution to the work that is going on there,
right?
And because we need their services.
Right. Let me say thank you to Mr. Kwekwa Krobia. He is the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses Association. The anonymous nurse is still there on the phone. And if you are there and you can hear me, now the documents that the nurses have also indicate that management of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital have in some way tried to meet the nurses halfway. Do you consider that satisfactory?
I don't consider it satisfactory at all.
Tell me, when you said, for instance, that they are meeting you halfway in terms of loans and accommodation, what exactly do you get from what you're going through?
They are giving us salary advance, and that is about 50% of our salary. And that is just a meager sum compared to what our salary is. And it can't do anything. It can't help at all. Imagine we are owing rent, we are owing people, and we have to pay. You take the salary advance, then you pay the person you are owing. The next month you pay again. The cost of living is high. We are tired and we are fed up. We have stretched down.
How much, for instance, how much a month do they give you a salary advance?
It depends on the type of staff you are.
So give me a range. Let's say a senior nurse or a junior nurse. How much do you get?
For a staff nurse, you're entitled to at least 200 Ghana cedis a month.
And that's what you depend on a whole month.
So you can imagine, what will 200 cedis do for you in a month? In this modern day Ghana, where everything is expensive.
The last time
they have not been fair to us at all. We are tired and we are fed up. So we get our salaries, we shall not go to work after the 30th.
The last month you threatened the strike action.
Yes.
You could not go because of certain reasons. How sure are you 30th September you will lay down your tools?
The last time we decided to go on the strike, they spoke to us and they promised us that we would be getting our salaries, and they promised, and we just took their word for it. But it looks like they just took us for granted. This time the strike is going to come on, and until we get our salaries, we will not return to work. And when it comes to Kolebu, the junior staff are those doing most of the work. We do most of the work, and see how they are treating us. They are treating us unfairly. When you go to the other teaching hospitals and the other hospitals and the Ghana health services, they've all been paid. So you should wonder why Kolebu, a center of excellence, they should treat their staff like this.
Thank you so much for speaking to us on today's big story. The anonymous nurse there telling us of the experiences of some 600 junior nurses at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. They were employed in January 2012, and between then and now, their salaries have not been paid. All effort to get the issue settled still remains futile, and of course, they are threatening 30th September. They are going to lay down their tools. So we'll get you more on this issue later on, but don't also forget that the show is not ended yet. The interactive segment comes up right after this. Thanks so much for staying there. I'm back with the lady Marian. Stay with us. I'm returning shortly.